Dwayne Nash here. Out in nature, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Feels so good to be alive. Can I get a hello? AOC can eat my shorts. The Green Deal painted red. Now, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of just making fun of AOC and, you know, it's kind of boring. Other people are doing it better than I could do anyways. So what I'm talking about here is a conservative mirror to the Green Deal, painting it red. Small government, no government coercion. You don't got to change your lifestyle dramatically. Well, some people will, some people won't. It's voluntary. This is based on the notion that the government's role in this prospective way of looking at the environmental debacle we're in is to say, hey, we're not forcing you to do anything, but we're going to get out of the way. Come and get it. Come and get it. And what I mean come and get it is combining bare bones government, local control, localism, farming, how you live your life, and really getting us to think about how we live and integrate with life in a more holistic, permanent manner. The overarching kind of philosophy is based around permaculture. So this is sort of a homesteading in reverse, if you will, where not the whole urban population, but a big chunk of it, maybe 5 to 10% is all we would need, go back and spread across the landscape and grow stuff again. Food, hemp, mushrooms, algae. In coastal areas, algae is going to be a big player in this red deal. And kelp, rejuvenate these coastal ecosystems and environments through kelp, and also make America's soil great again. See, that's the one thing missing in the, well, many things missing in the Green New Deal, is how to get the farming. They just say, we'll just discuss stuff, and it's kind of, farming is critical in any kind of curtailment of carbon. Carbon's a big player. We're talking a lot about the carbon cycle. You know, so the carbon cycle is something you really want to get invested your knowledge base in. So you want to think about the carbon cycle as kind of like an economics of carbon. You know, the carbon all around us, carbon in me, carbon in the plants, carbon in the soil, carbon flowing down through the river. When it's put up in the air as either methane or carbon dioxide, and there's too much of it, and we're putting it in there in a pace that's faster than the Earth has ever seen, that's when it gets to be problematic. So what I'm suggesting is, okay, so it goes up in the air, but then it also could get it can get taken up by plants. They breathe in the carbon dioxide and incorporate into their own tissues and whatnot. We eat the plants. Plants decay, go in the soil. So when the carbon's in this solid form, or better yet, buried somewhere, it is sequestered. And so that's where it's put locked up for some time in a way that's not up in the atmosphere, creating a greenhouse gas. When we eat and digest food or burn stuff, or when there's volcanic outgassing, or when we dig up fossil fuels and burn those, and that gets released in the atmosphere at a pace that the Earth can't take back up, that's when it gets to be a problem. There's also interaction between the atmosphere and the ocean, creating ocean acidification. So this is where the kelp is going to come in handy. Harvesting the kelp full of all the micronutrients to go back in the soil, where the micronutrients have been leaching away from our agriculture areas. Our soil is depleted. It's only replenished in nitrogen, phosphorus, and some other elements. It's missing all these trace minerals that have went into the ocean. So you harvest the kelp, you harvest the macroalgae there, you stimulate the coastal economies, ship that kelp as fertilizer for food, for feedlots, for hemp, for marijuana. Kelp is a great for you stoners out there. That way you take out the carbon out of the ocean where it's building up, put it back in the soil, you're bringing along the micronutrients, you're stimulating better growth factors for your plants, better disease tolerance, better drought tolerance, and you integrate this with the permaculture revolution, where we're starting to bring the factory farming and the big industrial farming to its knees, and it's going to be more of a permacultural setup where people who have not been able to achieve home ownership in the cities get enticed back to the rural areas where they can get a plot of land for cheap, or work out something with landowners, some kind of sharing communal situation. They get back on the land, they get home ownership. It's homesteading in reverse, okay? And the way the government could help is just say, hey, I'm gonna get out of the way, here's the path to victory. You're growing your own food, your own marijuana, you're growing hemp, you're making stuff again. America's making stuff again, not just manufacture-wise, which is the Donald Trump revolution, but making clothing, making furniture, making all these things that the globalist economy has shipped away to foreign areas. Americans now make that again on their own land, on their own property, with minimal government taxation interference. In fact, to incentivize landowners in rural areas, I've been thinking of some ways to, they say if you get so many people on your land and they're producing stuff and you're using best practices for permaculture, some tax easements, maybe chipping away at property taxes or capital gains, and in that way incentivizing not just people, but the creative class and the banking class away from the coastal areas, back more evenly distributed throughout the countryside. And because people are invested in permacultural solutions, now all of a sudden they're thinking about, hey, well, we got to protect our water too. We got to protect our riparian areas. We got to, start thinking about getting off these fossil fuels, not because the government is telling us to, but because we're invested in the land ourselves now. We got to grow food from it. We got to collect our water from it. We got to protect the riparian areas. Get water back in the best place to store it, which is underground. So, again, I'm going to flesh this out in upcoming videos. I think there's an army of people ready to switch from the blue to the red. It just doesn't sit well with people like me, the anti-environmental stance of modern day conservatism, because it wasn't all that way. We need to put the word conservatism, root word conserve, okay? Richard Nixon signed the Clean Air, the Clean Water, Endangered Species Act. Theodore Roosevelt, a Republican, also staunch conservative. America's best idea, national parks. If the conservative platform, if they got on with environmentalism and actually come to terms with global warming, not climate change, stop saying climate change, anthropogenic global warming, intimately linked with the input of fossil fuels into our atmosphere. I'm not going to argue with people about the graphs and predictions and all this stuff. It is something the conservative platform has to acknowledge and get on board with. And actually, if it did, If the conservative platform got on board with environmentalism, they would be unstoppable. That's the ultimate hit parade. Get on board, be a leader in this. You got people ready and willing to leave the Democrats, the Liberal Party. What's all holding it back is just Republican staunch anti-global warming crap. They got to be more they got to be more creative about how to be thinking about this for their own benefit, and really go on board with this. Take it back from the Democrats. They don't deserve it. They don't have any good ideas anyways. Like I said before, if we get a permaculture revolution, that's going to suck people away from the coastal areas, the Democrats, spread them out across the landscape. They're going to be making stuff themselves. Okay, they're going to naturally lean towards a more conservative style of government, a more bare bones central government that interferes little to nothing in production. So it's a win-win. They need to take it on. They need to admit what's going on here. And we need to start, and I'm going to keep going, investigating ways and coming up with ways to integrate the word conserve back in conservatism. That's all. Share this video. Hit the like button if you liked it. Hit the dislike button if you're a globalist machine elf. See you later.